What you measure is what you value. But what if you don't know what's valuable? How will you know to measure it? Data is relative. Numbers alone don't mean anything. 2 out of 10. What does that mean? 2 out of 10 times you get in your car, you'll get into an accident. Those aren't good odds. 2 out of 10 times when you play the lottery, you'll win. Those are odds you'll look to optimize. If the risk and the return are understood relative to the baseline, you can make educated decisions. However, relativity, risks, and subsequent gains are all based on baselines. Baselines you establish after you've spent a certain amount of time measuring something. Now there's two main problems with that. One, what if you're measuring the wrong things? And second, what if your initial numbers were flawed? What if what you're measuring isn't the most critical factor for your sales team's success? Let's say you're optimizing for a number of opportunities and looking to increase your close rates. In theory, that should lead to greater revenue. However, what if in increasing the average deal value reduces the close rate? You'll optimize for the wrong thing and likely never capitalize on your true market potential. Because in certain situations, certain clients have a greater appetite for larger service offerings. Could that revenue amount potentially eclipse the revenue from clients at a lower rate? These are the types of questions you should be asking yourself before you set your KPIs and goals. One of the ways to avoid these pitfalls is to know your true North Star metric. What do you actually want? Is it more clients, more revenue? Once you understand that, you'll need to determine 3 unique ways to get to that North Star metric and optimize those outcomes. You'll need to forecast multiple scenarios and optimize for different outcomes so that you can see which ones give you the highest likelihood of maximizing your North Star metric. Now understand this. Simply doing this doesn't mean you've unearthed all the nuance. It's just step 1. Domain experience should most certainly influence your benchmarks. What if your initial batch of results were too low because the control group you used was wildly unprepared and had terrible performance? You wouldn't know that because you don't have the data to prove that they were terrible. Now, your baseline numbers are reflective of that poor performance and you'll only ever look to optimize that. You've pigeonholed yourself with data constraints and now you're going to optimize from a bad place. When I speak with a salesperson that tells me they have a 90% close rate, my initial reaction is that it's too high. I'm probably going to look at how many prospects they've disqualified. When close rates are that high, you don't have enough opportunities at bat and aren't utilizing the right tools. On the flip side, when a salesperson tells me that they have a 2% close rate, my initial thought is to look at who they're speaking to. Trying to be all things to everybody results in a serious waste of time. I would look to determine what the true value prop is and who they're selling to. Data tells you where something is. It's up to you to understand whether that's right or wrong and in what context. To truly take that next step and differentiate yourself and create the biggest gap you can between you and your competitors, you're going to have to find value in the unmeasurable. If it can't be measured, nobody else is measuring it. And if it can't be measured, it's unlikely anybody else is looking at it. That's your competitive edge. You will inherently separate yourself from the pack because if it could be measured, everybody else would already be doing it. Most organizations have a very linear approach to problem solving. Previous solutions inspire future solutions. This creates a very derivative and unimaginative strategy. They do this because it's safe, because they have a framework of how they can measure progress. But like I said, true separation comes from doing something truly different. The only thing that is different in today's marketplace are things that cannot be truly measured, because your competitors are afraid of investing in something they cannot tangibly track. The organizations who are brave enough to make decisions based on their own domain experience, irrespective of what data scientists tell them, they are the ones who will make the best strides forward. True change comes from anticipating what your market needs before the data supports it.